don't sacrifice a long-term trust for a short-term gain.
If you never quit, you never fail.
It takes 20 years to build a reputation. It only takes 5 minutes to destroy it.
If you treat your employees good, they'll treat your clients good.
I like to sleep at night. I don't want to have to think about anything that could potentially be misconstrued or, this lack of transparency that leads to lack of sleep.
Today we interviewed Clay Anderson with Clear Creek RVs, who is heavily involved with the brand and the operations of the company. And so he goes through the ins and outs, the ups and downs, and there's a ton of value in this episode. We hope you guys enjoy. All right, today we have Clay Anderson with us on the podcast. Welcome to the Brand Builders Podcast. Before we dive in, I want you to kind of dive in, like, your role with Clear Creek RVs and how did you get there, a little bit about that story.
Yeah, so first of all, thanks for having me. It's a really cool setup. I like everything here is pretty great. And with Clear Creek, I think a really great company. And it all starts with the owners, and they're unbelievable people. And that's kind of the foundation of who they are. I joined in December of 21. And they started a couple years prior in 19, in May of 19. And so the role initially was finance manager. And so, this was kind of their first full-time, dedicated, your one position kind of guy. Because they had, previously tried just through, having people there, like, hey, you're going to be the finance manager, and also I need you to do a couple of things here and there too. So this was like their one, this is all you're going to do. So I was like, cool. And so speaking with the owners, I was like, hey, I'm going to write basically everything that I do so that, we can have this kind of written process for the finance department and make it streamlined and without sacrificing customer experience and definitely make sure that we're maximizing goals and stuff like that. So that was the idea, and that went really well. So I did that for about 16 months. There was a need. It's kind of a funny story, but there was a need to move into the general manager or the general sales manager position, kind of a more sales manager focused. And we had a sales process that was kind of broken. And so it was really important for me to try to help fix that in a way that we could continue to maximize the customer experience, because that was the most critical element for us, was making sure that we give a great customer experience. And so that was 6 months of hard work. Like, it was literally writing everything that you're doing, revisiting, hey, did that work? And going through it with the sales team and the management and making sure it worked for everybody. It was very difficult, but it was important. So
were you doing this all as a finance manager, or did you switch? Or?
So yeah, I transitioned. I switched into the general sales manager role, and we promoted within to get a finance manager and I gave them all the resources that I had, the written processes and stuff like that, which was a pivotal role, pivotal piece to that puzzle. And so, it was kind of copy and paste more or less with the general sales manager role, getting into a spot where we could write the sales process and, be proficient and enhance the customer experience.
So let's talk about that. Systems, 6 months of rewriting this stuff. And so what was your process for that? Like, what was your approach? Did you just say, okay, I need this person to write every single thing that they do down in order? Or how did you go about that?
So that was kind of the way I did it. It was like, I had this idea of how I wanted it to look. And I was like, okay, so what does that look like? How can I teach that? And so I broke it down, and I like to say in crayons, broke out the crayons and really dug deep and tried to find it a way it's, if nobody knew anything about our business, it would be easy to comprehend and it could be, mass appeal, I guess. People could read it and understand what they're reading. And
it's great to have that mentality of, like, if I was to walk in here today and it was a blank slate and I didn't know what in the world to do, like, that's the system I want for somebody else.
Yeah, and that's part of the reason it took so long, because it was, it was very rudimentary.
It's not something that you just, like, anybody desires to sit down and do either.
No.
Like, it is torture,
hard work.
especially with the Howdy Media stuff, the more team members I bring on, because I started off as like a one man band. I would do
Yeah.
everything, and that's how a lot of business owners start off. And
Mm.
so as soon as I started bringing on help, I had to reteach the way that I thought about it, because like I just kind of expected them to think how I thought.
Exactly.
Everybody thinks different. Everybody has
Yeah.
different
Yes,
talents.
we do.
And so figuring out a way to explicitly explain the whole process from start to finish that everybody can understand is a
Right.
very challenging task.
Oh yeah.
And we're still growing in that every day.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got a long ways to go on that.
Yeah.
But no, that's awesome. Okay, so the next question, from your perspective, what are some of the principles that have helped shape the brand of Clear Creek RVs into something that your clients and customers recognize, first of all, and then trust you enough to go and buy from you?
Absolutely. And again, I think it starts with the owners,
Mm.
because they truly are great people. It's funny because when this job offer came through, I called a close friend of mine that I've known literally since I think her son was born in the room next to me. Like that's how that whole relationship started. And they've been in the RV space for a really long time. I think it's the mid 70s or mid 80s. And I called her and I said, "Hey, what do you think?" And she was like, "Those people are unbelievable." She's like, "Whatever they tell you, take it to the bank. They're great people. You'll want to work for them, and they do great things for their customers and for their employees." So it was kind of a no-brainer after I spoke to her, and so the principles that they've set out and that we've kind of cultivated over the years. The number one thing is consistency. They've been very consistent with intention behind everything they do, whether it be customer facing, employee facing, what have you. I mean, that's been a really critical piece of that, and it trickles through the company, especially in our service department. And I can't say enough about those guys. It's really important to us to have a great service team, and we do. And so that consistency has bled into them. And they're one of the top performing service departments in the state, and it's really incredible to see that transformation since I started there. But having consistency is a really important principle to them. Consistency, especially through, the intention of being intentional and having a purpose in what they're doing with everything they're doing. And it's fascinating. They're brilliant people, so it's really cool to see that. But second, I would say definitely transparency, and probably more so integrity, I guess. Those are really important principles to them and to us as employees, and to managers, and all throughout the company. It's, again, one of those things that kind of trickles down. And in a world where RVs, that space can be so mysterious, especially for a first time individual or what have you, many different cases that we see on a daily basis, it can be very tricky. And we pride ourselves on, no hidden fees, no gimmicks, just a genuine hassle-free experience. And we find that a lot of customers come back and appreciate that because that's what we offer.
Yeah. Kind of a fun question. I don't know. How many of your customers, or like what percentage of your customers do you feel like would be like Darren and I, like have not one clue about an RV, how to pull it, trying to figure out how to hook up? Like, what do you feel like?
Oh man, I would say probably 25-30% of our customers. There's a good chunk of them. They walk in, they're like, we have no idea what we're doing.
Exactly. And then as a customer, like coming to you guys, they yearn for that transparency and integrity.
100%.
So that's awesome. That's such a core value.
So on that, what would be like y'all's normal demographic? Is it like younger families? Is it older families? Like who?
It's kind of a blend, especially nowadays with, housing being the way it is.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It can be very expensive to buy a house. And so we see a lot of, and we have resources for this, but, the brands that we are partnered with allow for an individual or family to live in their trailers full time without voiding any manufacturer warranty, which is a major piece. And it helps to have the best brands, but that's another piece of that. But as far as the demographic, it's a mixture of it's kind of a mixture of your your Gen Zs are coming out and buying trailers, which is insane.
We're finally getting old enough
Yeah.
to buy houses and RVs
Yeah.
and boats. It's
Yeah.
about to get dangerous.
I'm
Yeah.
not buying a boat.
Yeah. Lots of millennials.
So whenever it comes to like the marketing side
Uh-huh.
of things, do y'all intentionally market towards younger audiences or older audiences, or just all above? Or do y'all have like a strategy for that?
Just all over. We have a dedicated team for that. So it's just kind of pretty broad.
So you mentioned YouTube earlier. How involved are you guys in YouTube, and what has that experience been like for the company?
Yeah, YouTube is really important for marketing. I was listening to a podcast, you may have heard of it, and they said that it's the number 2 search engine in the world. And
Especially for
huge.
RVs.
Yeah.
I've even caught myself like watching tours, like they take you through their lot.
Yeah.
And then you're like, it's fun.
you go,
wanna
I don't
see-
know how to do this. YouTube it.
Yes,
So,
exactly.
It's a
Yeah.
well, I don't know the numbers this year, but I have a strong feeling that it's ChatGPT
Mhm.
as number 1
Okay.
now.
probably.
Number 2 being YouTube.
Yeah. Wow.
Google is
Yeah.
I don't know. They're gonna
They're have to incorporate some AI
yeah,
or
and they've
something.
started. So I don't know if you've noticed, but whenever you search something on Google, they've started to summarize AI like with
Mhm.
AI.
Mhm.
And so that now completely throws SEO, like normal, like ranking and website ranking, and it throws all that out the window. Because as soon as you type in the question, you get an answer
Right.
at the very top. You're not scrolling to find.
Yeah, that's true.
And so I'm interested to see what happens with that. But YouTube is huge, like you said. It's one
It's
of
very
the
important. Yeah.
biggest search engines. And so, do y'all get a lot of like customers through there?
I know, we see a lot of views, but as we get interactions and I've heard just in our showroom that it's played a piece into decisions or always. It's funny because I've done a bunch of them,
Mhm.
and so they're like, "Oh, I saw you on YouTube," and I'm like, "Yeah, I'm YouTube famous." So
It's hilarious. Like Darren, you were talking about the owners and like they're the face and they like, all these things. Well, Darren, so many people see him on YouTube and they just know. You're like, oh, you're Darren's wife. I saw him on YouTube or I saw him
Yeah.
on Facebook on all these ads and I was like, oh great. Yeah, then you practically know everything
Yeah.
about us.
Yeah.
Well, it's huge, and I think video is probably the best way and approach to do that. And like you said, like when they walk in after seeing you on that YouTube video, it kind of feels like they know you,
Exactly.
like they have a
Mhm.
relationship with you already.
True.
And this is a whole other episode that I wanted to do, but I got on a sales call yesterday, and it was kind of weird because it was one of the first ones that person did not have any idea who we were
Mm.
or had seen any of our previous work or any of our content.
Right.
And it caught me off guard because normally how it goes is we'll get on the sales call, they'll see our content, and they'll book the call because of the content. And so by then they're already like warmed up, ready
Yeah.
to go. They're like, basically just tell me how much it costs and I'll tell you if I can afford it.
Right.
And that didn't happen yesterday. And it was a weird feeling.
Yeah.
Because I was like, oh, okay. Well, let me go back and explain what we've been putting out for the last 4 years in 15 minutes. No, but I think that's huge. Are y'all on other platforms as well?
The main
Just the
social
normal
channels.
ones?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have y'all seen any success on those?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Would you say that's like y'all's top like lead gen? Or
No.
where do y'all's leads come from as a marketing company?
There's a pretty wide channel. There's many different platforms throughout the internet that we use, and so those are kind of the mainstream of leads that we see come through is just the advertising. It's kind of like the classifieds were back in the day. Those before us, but
Classifieds?
like the newspaper.
Oh.
Yeah,
Okay.
it kind of works like that. And so
Garen just gave me a dirty look.
Yeah.
Garen, chill, bro.
yeah, no one uses newspaper anymore, but I don't think that's still around. But anyway,
some,
that's
some people still think that's effective.
yeah. Oh, I'm
Man,
sure.
there's some diehard newspaper and billboard. Billboards are like, I mean, there's a
They
time
get
and
me
place.
every time. The ones you drive by, it's like, ha, gotcha. I'm like, dang it. It
Yeah.
like, makes me mad. But
And the
they
Chick-fil-A
do
get
use
ones.
you.
Those get me. The Chick-fil-A
Yeah.
ones. 'Cause I'm like,
Yeah.
you see it, and then you're like, why do I want Chick-fil-A?
And I've always been curious, like, if if there was a way to track conversion rate off of those, like,
Yeah.
what would they be?
Yeah.
Because I know they create awareness and like, oh, I know that name, but
Mhm.
I feel like that's it.
Yeah.
There's no like,
Yeah.
hey, like direct book a call or anything.
Exactly.
Okay, so in your experience, what is the biggest difference between a bad brand and a good brand when it comes to your business? Hey guys, I hope you are enjoying today's episode. Today's episode is actually sponsored by Brand Builders, the community. This is a community for builders who are business owners and creatives who are wanting to maximize their content to create as many clients as possible and build the biggest brands that they possibly can. In this community, you're going to get access to weekly live Zoom calls. You're going to be able to access our Howdy team, as well as multiple different influencers who have gone through the thing. And so if this interests you at all, there's going to be a link in the description to check out more. Hope to see you in there. Let's get back to the episode.
Yeah, I think that's a good question. A bad brand is, it's one of those things where, they're not customer facing, not transparent. I mean, that's kind of the basis of it. And, a good brand is a company that is not just meeting expectations, but they're exceeding them, and customer experience focused. They're creating an atmosphere where it's memorable for the right reasons. And
That's good.
I think that's very critical. I know it happens every day where we'll be with a client and we hear that we're like, we weren't expecting to buy anything today, and here we are, and this has been phenomenal. We love this experience, and that's it's a huge compliment to what we do, because a lot of times people see a sales team like they see the dentist or a lawyer. It's not fun.
Yeah.
And that's what we sell. We sell fun, and so that's kind of the deal. And I remember as a kid going camping with my grandparents. We went to many places. There's one in particular, and I think it's called Dinosaur Valley. I could be totally wrong, but
Glenrose,
yeah.
Yeah, it's so cool. We did that too.
Yeah, all the time. And I remember I was like probably 8 or 9, and they had like these little sets you dig up dinosaur bones, and then you make the dino. I was like, this is the coolest thing,
Yeah. Or they literally have like tracks that are like you step in it and
yeah, kind of
it
puts you to
makes
scale.
Like, yeah,
You're like, whoa.
Well, no.
But memories like that I've had with my family, my grandparents, those are the things that are important to us, and making sure our customers get that experience to do that. And it doesn't just stop with sales; it's continuing with service, and we have a phenomenal service team, just really, really great.
So it sounds like to me, you don't sell RVs, you sell an experience and a lifestyle.
Exactly.
And I think that's a great way to look at it, because if you go into any business trying to sell the thing, you don't try to sell the outcome, you're going to have trouble.
Right. And that's a good way to put it. I'm a big reader, and so Simon Sinek is one of my favorite authors, and his books start with why. He says people don't buy what you do, they buy the why. They buy why you do it. And when your customers feel and believe in your why, they become a part of your story. And we have many stories, many stories, lots of cool stuff, and it's all because of that. It's a great atmosphere, and truly fantastic. Our guys are dedicated to that experience.
Yeah. Okay. So you mentioned books. What's your top recommended book that every entrepreneur should read?
Oh man, I have so many. I think the one that's most pivotal would be Grant Cardone's "Be Obsessed or Be Average."
Grant Cardone.
Yeah, he's aggressive. He's
They're like, this is the way.
But he's totally right.
Mhm.
Totally right. And I remember as a young salesperson, I was like, this Grant guy, oh my gosh, he's all over the place. This guy's nuts. And then you listen to him, you listen to his story, and you're like, he's on something. He's actually got an idea. And what's so fascinating about that book, it's not just about business. In the book, he talks about being obsessed doesn't necessarily mean a bad thing if you're obsessed with the right things in your life. And that's your family, your kids, your husband, your spouse, your wife, your business also, and yourself. You know, be obsessed and go all in. And he says all throughout that book, if you can, then you must. And you know, if you can, you know, have this dream of this goal, this idea that is attainable for yourself, you have to do it and go all in and do it. And so that's one of many.
Sorry. A lot of the guests that we've brought on the podcast, this is a part of our community that we've been really raw and honest about, is like the highs and lows. And it's been really cool to hear all these different stories of people and like what they had to go through to keep pushing and be where they are today. Sure. And like you don't just show up and have this role that you're in.
Exactly.
Or you don't just show up and boom, everybody knows y'all are the only RV place to go to. We had friends, I guess we're releasing that episode before this one, but they're chiropractors, and they were talking about how they moved here, knew no one, and then like went knocking on doors to build. Like,
is that Victory?
Yeah. Yeah, we just left there this morning. You're like, boom, I know their determination. Yeah. Like, they're awesome people. But I don't know. I don't feel like we talk about like business to businesses, like the tough stuff and the hard stuff. So do you feel like there's been any seasons like that you've been, like not necessarily tough seasons of the company, but like you as an individual and your role there that you
absolutely.
Had to just push through?
Yeah, it's kind of the entrepreneur's story, you know.
Yeah.
I started in, like I said, in 21. Things were great. The post ramifications of COVID were difficult. I also found it difficult, you know, to organize and find the right team, you know, and it took a long time to do that. And we had some great people work for us, unbelievable people, and I love all of them. They've all been fantastic, and you know, they're all just, you know, great people. But in some cases, you know, we tried to find ways to get to that next step, and it was very difficult. And so some things worked out, some things didn't. But you know, for me personally, it was a very trying time when we kind of hit the reset button, and I had, you know, full confidence from the owners, and you know, they were like, okay, let's do this, you know. And I'm sure it was very scary for them. It was scary for me, and to be, it was me and one other person at one point in that office, and our finance manager. And so that was tough.
Okay, so in times like that, that's something that you have no control over.
Right.
Nobody saw that coming.
Exactly.
It kind of happened.
Yeah.
And so when something like that happens, what were some of like the practical things that y'all tried, and some that worked out and some that didn't work out?
It was more trying to keep your head above water than anything.
Yeah,
so
we get it.
It was probably, you know, and this is more me speaking personally, you know, it was like, okay, what are we doing today? It's just like, we got to focus on just incoming customers, because that's really all we had time for. Me and the one other salesperson we had at the time, it was like, all we can do is focus on incoming calls, you know,
getting leads, and
people coming in. That's all we can focus on. We literally have no time for anything else. And so it was more about just kind of shucking the extra tasks and trying to redelegate those to people who could help us. And that made it difficult. So yeah, that was a challenge. I think that was the most professionally challenged I ever have been, was rebuilding. And we've got an amazing team, so it's really great.
You speak so highly of like the people you work with, and that just shows how cool it is, and how much just it trickles down from the ownership and that community. And you were talking earlier too about when you were saying what's a good brand, bad brand, and immediately you were talking about like the atmosphere, and that really can't be built without all those people and what they bring to the table.
It's 100% true. And even from the beginning of when I started there've been some really amazing people that have worked with us, and for one reason or another, they've moved on. And you know, we always hope the best for them no matter what. And but there's just something different about the team we have now, and it's almost like a family. It's very good camaraderie, and you know, it's always a fun time. That's, you know, the one thing that we always come back to is like, we want to be there. There's not this feeling of like, oh, work, you know. It's like, it's exciting to be there. We want to be there. and we have a great time with our customers too. Even
Mhm.
we
Yeah, that's
cut up
huge.
with
That's
them
one
and
thing
have a
we
good
talk about a lot is if you treat your employees good, they'll treat your clients good.
100%.
And so win-win-win for everybody.
Exactly. Yeah.
And so one thing I want to touch on, those struggles and those hard times, like we've talked about it a lot on the podcast, but if you're going through something like that, that's what creates like sharp swords
Mhm.
and like super strong people and individuals, is whenever you're forced to go through that time. It sucks in the middle of it, but if you can figure out a way to power through and not give up, you're going to grow from that. And so one thing we say a lot, I heard somebody say this the other day, it may have been Gary Vee. You ever listen to Gary Vee?
Oh yeah.
So like if you never quit, you never fail.
Yeah.
And that really, I don't know why I think about that so
Yeah.
much, but it's like whenever I have a bad month, I'm like, if I quit, that means I fail.
100%.
But if I keep going,
Yeah.
I'll never fail. I'll just keep learning.
Right.
And so I think that's important to remember. You talked about your sales team a lot.
Mhm.
What I feel like that's an underrated part of business.
Yep.
Is the sales and how people approach it. Because you talk about Grant Cardone, Andy Elliott. Have you ever listened?
Oh gosh.
I cannot stand that guy.
No, he's
You had the same response. It
Andy
sounded like
Elliott.
Yeah.
He is. I don't even know how to describe him, but he wears tight shirts. He thinks he knows more than everybody.
yeah. If you don't
He's
have
like,
a six pack,
please don't watch
He's like,
this,
if you're-
Andy.
He's like, if you're not selling $1 million in cars per month, then you're worthless.
Yeah.
Like, it's pretty hardcore.
Yeah, that
so
builds
I
people
feel
up.
like my approach to sales is just strictly providing a win-win situation. So where it's like an even exchange of value.
Sure.
And so if you truly have a good service or product, you shouldn't be trying to force people into doing something.
Right.
How important do you think like that process is whenever it comes to like somebody going and purchasing the item, your sales team?
Having a great sales
Yeah.
team. Oh, it's phenomenal. Makes a total difference. One thing I always like to say is when having these discussions is I like to sleep at night. I don't want to have to think about, anything that could potentially be misconstrued or, this lack of transparency that leads to lack of sleep. And so, that's one thing with our guys. We don't have to worry about that. We've got a group now that knows exactly what they're talking about. And the majority of the reason for that is because they used to work on them. Like they used to work on the trailers as a
helps.
technician. Yeah, it's a huge piece. And so that's very, very rare to find someone who can do both.
Yeah.
And so
Experienced with the product and also have communication skills.
exactly.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
huge.
Yeah.
So what's like the culture that you, as like a management level, what's the culture that you set up for them? Do you have to even explain what you want, or is it just kind of like in them?
So it is 100% in them. They're all very competitive.
That's fun.
Yeah,
Especially
it
in
makes a
sales.
good time. And our top salesperson is a revolving door. And that's what makes it so fun. It's like there's not one person that's just running away with it. It's
That's awesome.
our sales guys are all doing a great job, and they we post this on Facebook every month. Shout out to Brooke because she was it last month. So,
Oh,
but yeah, she does a great job, and her customers love her. And the month prior to that we have 2 errands. And so the month prior to that, it was one of the errands, and I think the month prior to that was another errand. So, anyway, it's been phenomenal. And that, as far as the process goes, all of our customers love our salespeople because they're very transparent, very honest, very matter of fact. This is what it's going to do. This is what it will not do, and we're not going to lead you into something, trying to sell you more than you need or
Be pushy. I feel like there's a lot of salespeople who are extremely pushy and they do not give up.
right.
And that's like the Andy Elliott way
Yeah.
of doing
it's
sales.
pushing somebody into a corner that they're not ready for.
Especially in this part of the world.
Yeah.
Like
It's outdated, Andy. Yeah.
it's outdated. Like nobody wants to be sold to like that because they're just tired of it.
Yeah.
And so that's one thing too with content is we don't create content that feels salesy. Like we create content that shows our personality, but also shows what we do. And eventually, like they know what we do, but they
Right.
also enjoy what we're putting out.
For sure.
And because they're getting on social to be entertained, not sold to.
Exactly.
And I think it's the same way with sales. Like if
Yeah.
you're pushy, don't be pushy. It hasn't worked out. Like,
Right.
anyways, don't listen to Andy Elliott.
The
If
number
you
one
get anything from this conversation, don't listen to Andy Elliott.
Oh, there's
the number
a lot
one
more.
thing is solving a problem.
Yeah.
You know, and that, I think if you can help do that, you're gonna be the solution.
Well, if you genuinely solve somebody's problem, yeah, you're not going to have any issues selling that product
Exactly.
or service. And so that's why I think it's been so easy for us, is because, like, here's what we do. Here's some previous people we've helped. This is the results they've got. This is what can do for you, like your ROI. We figured out how to explain ROI and everything. And as soon as we figured that process out, it was a lot easier.
Yeah.
Because at the beginning, whenever you're trying to sell something or a service and you don't have a ton of like previous work that you've done or any past history of being a good business,
Right.
it's a lot harder.
Oh yeah, it's tough to
Um,
build that.
It sounds like you guys too are like very much not on the transactional side. Like, yes, sales, obviously a purchase, but it doesn't seem like a high and buy experience.
Mhm.
Like, it seems like y'all provide like follow through in that relationship, like with the salespeople. So, what does that kind of look like?
Oh, it's extremely important, and I'm glad you said that because that was part of the notes I had taken. But I didn't mention that. That's good, and you're 100% right. There are transactional purchases that customers are like, "Hey, we've sold to literally to Alaska to Florida."
So, do they come pick it up?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
from
cool.
Alaska to Florida in the same week, actually. It's
And they
pretty-
find y'all through those like
interesting.
online websites you were talking about.
Exactly, yeah.
gotcha.
And we're big on, in the RV space because, again, a testament to the owners and all the hard commitment and intentional effort they've put into it. We're part of some really exclusive groups that
Mm.
you don't typically see. And so that's been a big staple to that too, having those out, in the world. And so, yeah, so we sold to, all the way from literally Alaska to South Florida. It was like 6,000 miles. We did the math anyway. But it's very much that way. It's very much a relationship type sales focused
Yeah.
approach. And there are some people who don't want that, and that's okay. We understand, they may have found us as the cheapest trailer out there that's available. And they go, yeah, that's what we're going to do. They come in, they buy it, and they're like, we'll probably never see you again. And that's okay. We're not going to force you to like us, but
Yeah.
most of our customers do anyway. So
Mhm.
it's a great time. It's very much a relationship based.
Yeah.
And that makes y'all stand out. I was about to say, what would you feel like? Sorry, I have a lot of questions
No, go
today.
for it. I'm not mad
What
about
do
it.
you feel like makes Clear Creek stand out above your competitors?
I think the people, number one.
Okay. Yeah.
We have, I would say, if they're not obsessed, they're borderline obsessed. They're right there. And I'm trying, Grant. I'm trying to get them there. But they've got great goals. They've got motives, and we got the owners are not much older than me, so they've got their own set goals that that they want to get to, and they're all just really intentional with what they do. And so I think to answer the question, I think what it comes down to is the people make it different, and
it can change your entire experience.
100%.
One place to another. Yeah.
100%. And we've had some that we shake our head, we like kind of scratch our head and go,
Yeah.
I don't know why you said that. Don't do that again. It's like,
Yeah.
I think everyone has that experience in business, but
We talked about that the other day, the importance of like a front desk person.
Yeah.
Wherever
Mhm.
you're going. We don't have a front desk here, but every time we go to a business and we
Your first
we get a
impression.
vibe from the first impression.
exactly.
And so if that first impression does not taste good in the client's mouth, like
Yeah.
We went somewhere the other day in a person, which nobody's 100% all the time.
Right.
We all have ups and downs. But that specific place we went that day, that person's normally like super bubbly and like standing up and like really intentional and all this. And we went in, it was just like real quiet. And the whole atmosphere felt different.
Mm.
It's just talking about the impact of that presence, that person. And so, like you were saying, your people, like
It's
that
true.
matters so much more than you could ever imagine.
It's true.
Their attitude, the way that they're connecting with the customers.
Yeah. So if you're listening to this and you have a front desk person at your business,
You matter.
Don't,
You're
first
so
of all,
important.
if
Train
you're that
them.
person, you need to turn that frown upside down.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Second of all, you need to what was I going to say?
Step into that role and be
Yeah.
proud of it.
100%.
Some people are like, oh, it's a secretary job or whatever. I'm like, no, you matter a lot more than you think.
It's true.
Yeah.
And that's something that Grant Cardone talks about. He's like, you should be obsessed with the way your receptionist answers the phone. He's like, and some people are going to think that's crazy. And he's
No.
like, but the reality is that is your first impression. He did a phone call in a conference one time, and he called like this. I forget what it was. He called like it was like a hardware company. And he was like, hey, how much is it for a water heater? I need a new water heater. And he has like the speaker on the deal so everyone can hear it.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, we have to have a technician come out there because there's so many things. And he's like, oh, okay. She hangs up the phone. And he's like, you just lost the opportunity. He's
Yeah,
like,
completely.
that's it. And so if you don't have that training for the minor details, and you don't have this this landscape of how is this supposed to look, it's extremely important, and it could cost you. That's an opportunity cost. You have no idea
Yeah.
what that'll cost you.
And all of these things funnel back into your brand. Because when
100%.
you think of all these first impressions, you think of all that. Like, it's what makes a difference with that person choosing you versus somebody else. The phone calls, the presence, like all that. We've experienced that way more. Like this week we were calling and looking around for a mechanic. And I don't know, we called 5 mechanics. And that we were just looking at each other while we were on the phone. We're like, no.
Yeah.
Yes. No. Just by
just
the
off of the tone of their voice.
and their excitement, or like if they're able, it's a car. That's what they do. That's what they're passionate about. But to us, it was like, oh.
So yeah, phone
seem to
calls
throw
and
things.
like on social media too. This is a big one, especially for Gen Z.
Mm.
If you don't have a presence or post anything, you could have two of the companies who sell the exact same thing, do it at the same level, but one posts great content and has an online presence, and the other doesn't have any presence.
Right.
10 times out of 10, they're going to choose the one who has great content because they can see that there's proof that they
Right.
exist. They're nice. You can see their personality.
Yeah, and
beforehand.
it gives you a little bit of comfort seeing the place. Like for me, I like to see the place a little bit before I get there.
Yeah.
And that's even like, it's very big on restaurants too. Like whenever we travel, this is one thing that we do every single time. We're looking for a place to eat, and we
Who
go.
does? I'm the one that's scouting cool spots.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Just say it.
so she's researching, and we usually pick the one with the most aesthetic pictures
No, that's fair.
That's so
and the greatest Google page or
Yeah.
whatever, or Instagram. Like we'll go to their Instagram. If they don't have an Instagram or Facebook, we don't. It almost feels like they don't exist.
Yeah. I
Mm.
can see
It's
that.
just the culture that.
Same thing. I could see that plate, and I'm like, I'm gonna order that when I go there. Or like you post a cool RV, and I'm like,
Yeah.
that's
It-
the
wanna
one
see
I'm gonna
that.
go
It
look
just-
at first.
It's like you want to go to the place that they care enough to take care of their brand and like the way that they're perceived.
Yeah.
And so that means that they'll probably go the extra mile to make sure your
Exactly.
experience is good.
Yeah, that's good. I like
Um,
that.
So, okay, to wrap this up, this has been great. If you were sitting across from a new business owner or a business owner who maybe be feeling burnt out or something along those lines, what would be like your best piece of advice that you would give somebody that you've ever received or learned?
Yeah, I love this question. It was one of my favorite ones. I had probably 8 different answers for it, so I'll try to summarize.
Yeah.
But the number one thing is, for me, it would be, don't sacrifice a long-term trust for a short-term gain.
Mm.
And so, being honest and transparent about whatever it is that you're involved with is extremely important.
Yeah.
I was listening to Tom Brady give a speech, and I don't remember where it was, but, it's basically like no days off, no shortcuts. If you're going to do this, full commit, and, make sure that you're doing it the right way. And I think that's most important because it's so easy for anybody in a business setting just to take the path of least resistance and
Mhm.
motor through it. And that's probably absolutely the most important thing to do is go through those trials and figure out, the gist of it.
That's
and
good. And
yeah.
people are, whether you like it or not, people are watching how you handle the hard
oh yeah,
around you. And so you could be encouraging somebody else by pushing through.
Yeah. And that's another critical element to to our ownership that we have at Clear Creek is we've seen the good, bad, and ugly, and in those moments you watch your leadership go through it, and you're like, how are you going to react to this?
Yeah.
And with 100% unwavering, just unfaltered, just consistency, I've seen them do the right thing over and over and over and over again, and it's so nice.
And that
So
makes
nice
you
to
want to
see.
work harder too.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, and be there.
Yeah.
And be there for a long
Yeah,
time.
it pains me to leave sometimes. It's one of those things, and my wife's like, "It's okay to come home." She's
Yeah,
like-
she's like, I miss you.
Yeah, exactly. So
I
that,
get that. I relate to the wife.
yeah, exactly. I love my kids and my wife; they're fantastic. But this business has been a lot more personal for me than anything I've ever done. So
That's pretty cool to get to say.
yeah,
Some people go to work and they're like, it was work, work's work. And so the fact that it gets to be a part, and you enjoy that, that's awesome.
and she sees it. She's been my biggest supporter, and I know how hard it can be, especially with kids, on her. And, she's doing it basically all by herself. And, I'm calling her at 7:30 coming home, and she's like, how's your day? How'd it go? And very encouraging and happy for our success.
Yep.
And she's my biggest cheerleader, so I'm thrilled. She's also a lot prettier than me, so it's a win-win,
Same.
You're getting some brownie points. He's
Yeah.
saying all this about you on the podcast.
Yeah.
No, I think
That's
that is
right.
important.
So
I think the support of your spouse is it makes 100% of the difference.
it would be impossible to do without it, and she knows that. We've gone through it all, and so the times of coming home at midnight in the car business, and she's like, you gotta quit that. That's not gonna work. It's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, that's
We've
cool
had
when
this conversation.
Draw
you
the
can
line.
recognize, because it's your person, it's who you're closest to. You can recognize, okay, this is healthy, this is good for you, or this we gotta fix something. I'm not saying you have to drop it, but we gotta switch something up.
yeah,
We've had that
we
too.
gotta delegate a little better.
Yeah.
But
For sure.
Yeah.
I think Warren Buffett said it best to wrap up that final question is, it takes 20 years to build a reputation. It only takes 5 minutes to destroy it. And
That's scary,
it is.
but it's good.
It is. You gotta stay consistent with what your goals are and with what your principles are. And if I were talking to a 20-year-old me, I'd be like, these are the things you got to know, and definitely read Be Obsessed or Be Average.
Yeah.
100%.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Well, great stuff. Thanks for coming on the podcast today.
Thanks for having me.
Where can people find you and Clear Creek RVs?
Yeah, Clear Creek RVs, 5701 East Highway 80, just on the south side of 20, Abilene, Texas.
Perfect.
You've
I'm-
said that a couple times.
What about social?
It just rolled off.
Yeah. I have said that a few times. Yeah. Social, we're on Facebook. You can find us there. Send us a message. Our entire team has access to the messenger, so if you shoot us a message, we'll be there.
Perfect.
I'm there. Seems like 7 days a week in spirit.
Is y'all's YouTube channel just Clear Creek RVs?
Correct. Yep.
Okay.
Awesome.
Yeah, go check it out. Go check Clay on his. What do you do? Do you do video tours? or-
Everything. Yeah. Video tours. And our sales guys have taken that over, and I'm so grateful. I love doing them, honestly. It's actually a lot of fun, but I've seen it scale up.
I was about to
a
say,
lot
some
better.
people have fun with it and some
Yeah.
people dread it. But
There's
you can tell the ones that have fun with it because it's entertaining to watch.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah. The owner's wife actually created a blooper reel, and it's somewhere out there. It's fantastic.
Did it
was
perform
so
better
good.
than any of the other videos?
It did well. I don't know about better, but it definitely did well.
It did well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, sweet. Well, thanks for coming on again,
Yeah.
and we'll see you guys in the next episode. Peace.